Robin, it finally came. Magfast.
Let's check it out.
Oh my, packaging is actually beautiful.
Super soft feeling, almost velvet box.
First off is the Extreme.
There's the bad boy right there.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
I really feel like I'm opening up something of value.
1 port, 2 ports, 3 ports, all wireless. Sick.
So Extreme is all charged up and ready to go.
Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works.
And it's on, and there it goes.
Mine's charging, yours is charging, yours is charging. Ha, that's so cool.
Have 9 of your friends charge their phone all at the same time and even jumpstart your car.
The battery is dead. I'm gonna attempt to charge this battery with the Magfast Extreme.
But incredibly 3 fast Qi wireless charging ports. Second, in addition to offering all that wireless power and a total of 5 USB outlets, the battery inside is so powerful it can jump-start your car. And up to 24 of your neighbors on a single charge. Magfast Extreme. Extreme wireless charging, extreme wired charging, extreme car starting. Magfast's patent-pending LED-licious system represents a radical rethink of how all our products clearly communicate with you. We've taken the time to design a simple system of LEDs that tell you everything you need to know in an easy way that you may notice you already intuitively understand. First, gently, firmly touch the power symbol to turn your charger on and see exactly how much charge you've got. Each LED has a number, so 8 white lights means an 80% charge. Easy. And each charging outlet is also numbered, and as you use it, the matching LED breathes in a gorgeous glowing green. Look, slower charging, fast charging, perfect power delivery for your device. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Seymour Segnet, the founder and CEO of Magfast. Thank you for joining me this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, for this crucial Magfast update. You probably got the gist from the emails and from the video that I did asking you to come here, that things need to change. I just want to apologize that we've been kind of quiet over the last, it's been kind of few months now, certainly many weeks. There's been a great deal going on, not all of it very easy. Several folks have written in, emailing since inviting you here, asking for an update sooner than that. And we've just had our heads down. I've had my head down, working on today. So what are we going to talk about? I want to give you some idea of the very harsh realities that we've been facing. Some of them are our own making, some of them from kind of external forces, for which, I'm still responsible for the whole thing. Some of that you won't like very much. Then we'll talk about what we're doing about them, the kind of decision about whether to kind of go or no go on taking this thing forward. The clue is that it's go. And you may not love all of that completely. And we'll talk about then what's in it for you. And I think if you're fair, and I know that almost everybody in the Magfast community is very fair, I think you may like that very much indeed. Also, in a few minutes, you're going to meet someone truly remarkable who's been helping us with these big changes, someone a very, very experienced a businessman and entrepreneur. I've never met anyone like John in my life, and I very much doubt that you have. So that's this hour. And then at 5 p.m., and I think we mentioned this in one of the emails, there's going to be a continuing presentation, a second presentation, a new presentation for many people, because there's a large group of folks who are interested in investing in the company because of the good stuff that we've done. We're here to talk about the challenges that we've had this hour, but who are very excited about the really good stuff that we've done. That's going to be next hour, and I really hope you'll stay on for that. And if we can, we'll preview some of it this hour. But I didn't really feel that it was, I thought it was not only unfair, I thought it was completely inappropriate to just go, rah, come and invest again, because we have to make significant changes, and not everybody who invested before is going to want to invest again, because not everyone's going to love what we're going to talk about here. So there's a lot to get through. Look, the new plan is designed to shed the problems of the past and build on what's great about Magfast and position us, your Magfast, to do something very unexpected and actually, I think, possibly bigger than was previously envisaged. Now, I mentioned a few people have been emailing before. I just want to call out a couple of folks and say thank you. Jeff S., you know who you are, Jeff, you'll recognize, just wrote in, said, please just give us a simple update as to what's going on and what we can expect. He said, while you try to be the eternal optimist, which I admire, it's time to be completely pragmatic. I'm going to be both. I'm going to be completely pragmatic. And if it's okay, Jeff, it's okay, everyone, I'm also going to be the optimist, because the last thing you need is me being someone who I am not. And I am an optimist. I think it's the driving force of entrepreneurism. I think it's the driving force of the kind of the, I don't want to sound kind of highfalutin, but I mean, it's the driving force of the best of humanity. And I think it's critical for problem solving and moving forward. So thank you. And he finishes kind regards. I really appreciate that, Jeff, because I know that along with many folks, you've not been feeling terrific about what's going on. And a nice one here from Bonnie as well, backing you all the way from the earliest days until, Bonnie, with question marks, wondering if it's all over. Thanks for leading a great team, she says. Sorry the journey has been fraught with so many stumbling blocks and challenges, but I'm grateful for your persistence. Thank you, Bonnie. Optimism and dogged efforts to overcome. Thank you, Bonnie. So let's get on with this. It's been very tough. for a host of reasons, not all of which I'm even going to be able to cover today. But I got to be honest with you, a little while earlier this year, I was kind of concluding that we're done. There were just too many forces, too many legacy problems that I was feeling. And remember, I'm an optimist, but I'm also kind of human. And one of the factors is that we have this fantastic, incredible support from so many people, and just a handful of people who are really foul. I mean, online accusations that just sort of, assume that we're kind of taking the money and off on vacation or something. Nothing could be further from the truth. Accusations of not always operating with the best intentions, or kind of worse. And that's just, I've made plenty of mistakes, but that is absolutely not what's been going on. All of my energies for 7 years now have been focused on making Magfast successful. I've kind of barely left the house. Everyone else was in the house for COVID. I was in there before and since. I don't really think I've taken a vacation. I did go over to the UK and work from there for a couple of weeks during COVID when my father died. I worked from England also a few weeks last December. Yeah, I took a couple of days off for Christmas visiting my elderly mum, and I'm going to be working from England for a couple of weeks again in June of this year. But I don't want any of that to sound like, how can I put it? I feel extremely fortunate and extremely blessed overall with my life, and to have had the chance to do this project with you. And frankly, if you're watching this now, you're probably better off than 99% of the people on the planet. So I feel very grateful for you. I feel very grateful for everything. I'm not very grateful for some of the things that have been thrown at us over the last few years. But even that, when I think about it, I think maybe it's made us stronger. And I think what you're going to hear today wouldn't have come about if it weren't for the difficulties that we've had. I am, and I have been here for you, working to get this done through the good times when they've been there from time to time, and through these hard times. I'm determined not to let you down. I own this. I own the problems. I owned the decision earlier this year whether to pack it in or tear off the Band-Aid and make the changes that we have to make. So I own it. I'm responsible for it. That doesn't mean that I can't tell you the story about what's been going on, because you deserve an explanation. Explanations are not excuses. They are facts about what's been happening. I own it. I'm responsible. If I'd made different choices, different things would have happened. So I'm not trying to palm this off on anyone. Every single key decision has been mine. And if I had acted, if I'd done different things, if I'd raised huge amounts of money from different sources earlier on, hired different people, hired different contractors or whatever, things would have worked out differently. And that's not to say that we don't have incredible people working on this team, because we do. So let's get to the source of the kind of original source of the problem. And if I'm honest, I think it came out of crowdfunding. About a decade ago now, I had many of you watching now know this, had some success in crowdfunding. And we used it to get Magfast off the ground. And the problem with crowdfunding, the original idea was like, hey, get everybody support you, do your project, and then, if the project works out, then the people who supported it get something. And it turned into this kind of pre-order thing, and it can wind up being a kind of fool's gold. And I think I was a fool who was taken. If you don't know the expression fool's gold, it's where less experienced miners can sometimes see something that they think is gold, but it isn't, and so they put their effort into the wrong place. And I think crowdfunding can be fine once everything's ready, and you go out on Indiegogo, you do pre-orders a few weeks before something's ready to ship, and we've done that more recently, very, very successfully, indeed, particularly with Lux. The problem we had was that when we started Magfast, we had this vision of changing charging for good, right? That means making permanent changes to charging, because the industry wasn't and still isn't that great a lot of the time, and also doing some good along the way. So we started out and we famously did this launch. We'll talk about it during in the 5 o'clock hour today for the new folks. What seemed like this incredible launch. The problem is the minute anybody gives you their money as a customer, a pre-order customer, a crowdfunder, understandably, folks feel entitled to full service, essentially, right away. Even though it's called a pre-order or crowdfunding, these days, folks are used to instant gratification, sometimes even freaking same-day gratification, and constant kind of customer service, and so on and so on. And for us, the cost of this, I can't even begin to tell you. It is millions and millions and millions of dollars, because when the suppliers we were working with to develop the products had delay after delay after delay of the original charging products, not the more recent ones that we've fully controlled ourselves. We have had to run customer care for that entire pre-order period. The cost of the team, refunds, because we always try to do right by people, have been massive, massive drains on the entire enterprise. Now, COVID didn't help, but it's not really the source of the problem here. We were already virtual before COVID. We were able to continue. Yeah, some of the delays were caused by that. Certainly some of the supply chain stuff, but it's really not the source of the problem. The problem was my choice to do crowdfunding originally, and my choice of some of the original suppliers. And then along the way, if I had been more effective at raising the really large sums of money that this project deserves, we would have had the funding to switch suppliers. Because the problem was we put the money here, and then it took a long time, and it was always a couple of months away, always a few months away. So what are we supposed to do now? We leave these people and take money we don't have over here and start over. And the thing just went on and on and on, as many of you good, patient folks watching now know. So this shortage of funds was really kind of at the core of it. And all the way along, I've tried to do the right thing. I've tried to look after customers, deliver on the promise of excellence and next level products. That's why we said, back when we started this 7 years ago, I said that the world doesn't need any more chargers. There's only point in making more of these products if we make stuff that's better. So I was always insisting on better, even when sometimes the suppliers were like, can't we just ship you this? Our other customers are happy with it. We're like, no, then it's just then we're just doing the same as everybody else. So that gives you perhaps a little feeling for how we got to where we are. So the choice is we have to make some significant changes. We have to rip off the Band-Aid on these problems that were seeded under me years ago. We have to cut this out like a cancer. Things have to change. The alternative is that we're done and everybody loses out. And I am not going to let that happen. Okay, we have built incredible value here. And too many people, the team, you guys, our fans, our customers, endlessly patient customers, many of whom have become investors, almost 5,000, I think it is now, folks, many of whom are watching today who are investors. God bless you. You deserve the Magfast that we've all been dreaming of. We've built incredible value. We've got to make changes, and we've got to take it through this thing and not just survive, but thrive. So we have a plan that returns to our roots, to the promise of changing charging for good. We've got to have products that are delightful and high quality and genuinely innovative. Everything we've done has always tried to be that. The original chargers took too long, but the recent products that have come out on schedule that we've fully controlled have just been fantastic, even as the earlier ones took too long. We've got to build on this incredible community. I know many folks, understandably, aggravated, not happy by the delays. And meanwhile, while all this was going on, while the many of the original customers were there, now the cost of digital advertising is going up like crazy and making it incredibly expensive to do marketing and bring in new folks. So the whole business model needs to turn around. And we have to do this at bigger scale because hardware is hard. One of my mentors, Christopher Hawker, said this years ago. Hardware is hard. It seems so easy to do. Just design a little thing, get a mold made, get someone to make it. We have to do this. We have to do this thing on a bigger scale to drive down the cost, and it all takes more capital than you can imagine. So, what are the changes that we're going to make? First of all, we actually started this quietly a few weeks ago. We're only ever selling things that are in stock and ready to ship or arriving in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4, but things that are on either in inventory or on their way. And in almost all cases, things that are in their way. We know that people are thrilled with our products when they get them, okay? Lux, America's highest rated smartphone, people are crazy for Lux. The average customer buys 5 of them. I've got a slide I'll show you next hour. We've got a new online presentation. Lux is a $37 product. And in the new presentation, the average order value is, I think it's $185. So Lux is an unbelievable product. Heathrow, the suitcase, absolutely incredible. The first customers have them, they absolutely adore them. Extreme. Okay, we hear all the time from people say, "Oh my God, you saved my life. I jump-started my car." So when we get this stuff out with the beautiful packaging and everything, customers just love our products. So we have to get out of this craziness of offering things in advance, too far in advance, and then folks get disgruntled and there's refunds and this, that, and the other. And I want to ask for, because this can only be done if we all work on it together. I want to ask for your help with something. If you are watching this and you don't feel happy with us, I understand that some people want to go online and vent their anger. I get it. No one will win from that, because if you're trying to warn off new people, we're only selling stuff that's in stock now, and the stuff is demonstrably great. If you read the reviews of the products rather than reviews of people who are annoyed with waiting, the products are really fantastic, and we're only now selling stuff that is in stock and ready to ship. So if we can stick with reviewing stuff that you've received, whatever you think of it, but just stuff that's received rather than expressing irritation with the past, that would be an amazing choice. And we have to innovate the next generation of products and services. Because of the challenges of the past, we have been stuck for so long on the original charger designs. They took so long, and you know the tech world, things move quickly. Great products can last quite a few years, but we need to get the new generation of products down the pipeline. And again, if you'll stay here for the next hour, there'll be a replay, but you really want to be here and see it with everyone for the first time. You'll see that I think we have some really special stuff coming and some very significant changes for the business. So we want to build this movement with you. Magfast I genuinely believe, belongs to this entire community. We're going to recommit to you. The weekly live streams like this, they would just take up too much of the week. But we're committing to monthly as a minimum from here on out. You'll get Kate and me, and maybe we'll bring in a more expanded team. Everyone is going to benefit when we do this together. There's no obligation on you to help us. None whatsoever. You don't owe us anything, and in too many cases, we owe you a lot. But to turn this thing around, which I will do or die trying, we have got to scale this thing up. We've got to get new development moving. We've got to leverage new relationships and play the game at a higher level. I'm going to introduce you to John in just a minute, who has really shown us how, too much of the time our thinking has been this big, and it needs to be this big. So here's my commitment to you. We're going to do right by every single person who has anything that is unshipped at this time. We need to raise more capital, have to raise more capital. Cash is king. Then we're going to, with the funding in place, we're going to ship all Heathrow Go, all Heathrow Pro, so that's all the suitcases, and all of the Lux Pro and Lux Ultra, okay, which is the upgrades to Lux, the two new versions of Lux. And it'll take some time because of all the problems we've had to pause. Can you imagine how I hate pausing production over the last few months? But we're going to ship these best-in-class products and develop truly next level, next generation versions of the charging products. We'll show you a little bit later on. We do now have some fantastic development partners. There's one, when we worked on Air, here's the, by the way, this is you can't even see it against the dark there. Can you see this okay? Can't see with the light. There we go. So this is Air. This is actually Investors Limited Edition Air here. We do have all of these, by the way. Everyone who invested before who's due one of these, if you don't have yours yet, we have them, and you have an email saying come and pick them up. So please come and pick them up. But the development partner that finally finished Air for us, they sorted out in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I can't remember, something like that, a problem that had been going on for 2 or 3 years. We're just stuck, and they sorted it out. So we have access to some truly great partners now. And you've seen how well we did with the Lux cables and Heathrow, totally different than the development of the original chargers. Magfast has to ship best-in-class stuff. The new designs, by the way, 100% compatible with the Generation 1 power banks, okay, but just taking the whole thing to the next level. So here's what we're going to do. For folks with unshipped charging products, right, we're going to ship the cables and the suitcases when we've got the funding in. But for the charging products, we've got to ship you, we've got to ship you the best. And the charging products are great, but we need to be, as I say, we need to rip off the Band-Aid on that. So we're going to do 3 things for you when you choose to stick with us now. So for every $1 unshipped in chargers, we're going to double it. We'll do it using points, but we're going to double it towards the new second generation chargers. So if it's $100, we're going to give you $200 to spend towards second generation chargers. It's going to take a little while, okay? But we're going to double it, including a version of, I'll talk about it soon, but a new version that might even be able to generate some income, something really interesting that we're working on. More on that, as I say, a bit later. And also, every unshipped dollar, as I say, like every dollar value that we have that's unshipped to you, we're going to give you in credits, discounts, free service in a new charging network that we're announcing a little bit later on. And it is so critical. It's so critical that we move forward. The alternative, by the way, to this isn't good for anybody. So it's so critical that we move forward now that if you choose to support us with an investment, that's why the folks are coming at 5 p.m. But if you're one of these folks with unshipped stuff, if you will trust us with an investment at any level, the benefits I just gave you about the credits, we will double those. It's that important that we move this thing to the next level. There's going to be investment perks for everyone. You get those as well. But if you're someone who's got unshipped product, I'm going to give you everything I've just described, and we will double it if you choose to invest in this round. It's going to open at 6 o'clock this evening, Eastern. Now, if you've already got some chargers, you probably love them because everybody does. But you're going, well, hang on, I waited forever. What about me? So if you already had your chargers shipped to you, you patiently waited far, I'm responsible for it, far too long. So for you guys, we're also going to give you dollars towards second generation chargers, call them upgrade dollars or something like that if you like, and also credits in the new premium charging network. And for you also, we will double those benefits if you choose to invest in this round. So I know that that's a lot. I'm asking you to take on an unreasonable amount. Yet to turn this thing around, it requires unreasonable optimism, Jeff, and it requires unreasonable amounts of energy, and it requires an unreasonable kind of surge of community as well. Now, it's going to take us a few weeks to get everything I just described figured out. We're committing to having it all in place for you by the 4th of July. You'll be able to log in then or any time thereafter, see the points, see your position, and take care of it all then. All right. So Going to need your help to do this thing. Please rock with us on this. Please don't go calling customer care. The cost of it is it drains all the time. We're going to have to get some AI in there. All right, I promise you, the customer care team is terrific. We need them working on higher value things for you, not answering email after email. There are some folks, and we love everyone who's ever been involved with Magfast, but there are some folks who purchased a $30 item a long time ago that we didn't ship, have been in touch with customer care 10, 20, right? So it's just you cannot believe how draining it is, and we want to get this thing to the point where we're just shipping you great stuff right away. So you don't need customer care, and please only review stuff that is shipped and in your hands, because the days of not shipping stuff are done. That's not what we're doing anymore. We're now only shipping things that are in stock. And the final thing I'm just going to say before bringing John in is that with John's help, we're going to, as I say, take this thing to the next level. We're going to fortify and expand the management team. And I want you to know that as I kind of bring in a fuller, even more experienced team to do this, I am if you'll have me, and I'd understand if you didn't want to, I am personally committed to another 7 years here, or as long as you want me. Okay, that's a lot. Let's get John Fanning, if he's there. Michael, could we bring in John now to talk this thing through? And I just want to, John, because John likes to talk, unlike me. Before you do, John, I just want to say a huge and heartfelt thank you to you, because you have, when we met a couple of months ago now, and I'm actually getting goosebumps as I say. Goosebumps and crying as I say this, but the first time we spoke, you called me, and it was the most encouraging and optimistic hour of my life, because you just seem to see only the great stuff that we've done here, and have ideas and optimism for the challenges that we've had. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you and welcome to Magfast.
Well, Seymour, I'm really happy and excited to be here. I can tell you that the time that you and I have worked together, and it hasn't been long, but it's I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I'm incredibly impressed, and I feel grateful and honored to work with you. I would say, like Jeff, I myself am an eternal optimist, and I have tremendous experience. For those of you who don't know, I was the founding chairman and CEO of Napster. Napster was the #1 company on the internet in January of 2000, and I've had tremendous experience with early stage companies that have gone on to become tremendously successful companies. And what I've seen in Magfast is only reasons for optimism. Sure, there are a lot of things, and there's a lot to unpack in what you said, Seymour. And I'm happy to unpack all of those things with anyone that wants to listen. But let me just start by saying, with early stage companies, there's always challenges. There's always things that go wrong. There's always problems to solve. But without those problems, the opportunity wouldn't be as big. And what I see at Magfast, and what I've always seen, is I see the tremendous things that you have accomplished, that you've done incredibly well. And I started my career at Fidelity Investments, but bought a company that did Unix systems integration and called CompuMart in Cambridge Digital. We helped Steve Jobs sell his first $5 million worth of product at Apple. And I can tell you, I see in you many of the characteristics that I saw in Steve Jobs. You're a perfectionist. You won't ship product unless it's phenomenal product. You ship some of the best product I have ever seen. You are brilliant and innovative. And, Jobs himself, anyone who knew him knows that he was an asshole. And anyone who knows him knows he was a fierce competitor, ruthless, and he had an edge to him that you just don't have. You're a very nice guy. You're a pleasure to work with and a pleasure to deal with. And sometimes these business these business issues, because you're such a perfectionist, you can't stand to see business not go perfectly, but business doesn't go perfectly.
Yep.
Things don't always go well. But when our family invests in early stage companies, and our family has been among the first investors in, not just Napster, but Uber, Helium. We were early investors in Twitter. We had some opportunities in Facebook, opportunities in, with basically a who's who of tech companies. And what you see in those companies is you see companies that have ups and downs and peaks and valleys. And what we look for when we're investing in, for those of you who don't know, we were one of the first investors in Magfast. So like everybody here, like we're with you. We have the same questions for Seymour that you all have, and we're asking those questions, and I really like the answers we're getting. And so we look for two things in a seed stage, early stage company that we saw in Magfast. The first thing we look for, number one thing, is the person, the entrepreneur, the passion, the drive, the integrity, the vision. Seymour has it. He has it in spades. It's unquestionable. And his commitment and his drive to succeed and to accomplish. And the thing is, he's not even selfish. He's doing it for his customers. He wants to ship great product to customers. That's all he cares about. And I've only ever met one person like that. And you all know who he is, and we all have his iPhones. So I'm incredibly optimistic, like Jeff. And Seymour, you mentioned unreasonable optimism earlier. And you think that you're asking people for unreasonable optimism. But I think not to have optimism at this point is unreasonable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreasonable. And I've seen it again and again and again. And what we have here at Magfast are almost all of the elements of success. And yeah, it's really unfortunate. This is my favorite story. It's really unfortunate, Seymour, that you got too many orders for too many products, that you couldn't even ship them. You had so many orders. How many companies, like, that's a great problem to have. And yeah, you messed it up. Okay, well, sorry. Yeah, that happened. A lot of us would have messed that up. But you know what? We learned from it. We get better. We are getting better. The products that Magfast has shipped have been great products. Absolutely 9.3 out of 10. And, this is we're at a very exciting time in this company. And we're now at an inflection point because we know what we need to do together to be great. And I'm very confident we're going to do it. And as I said, there's a lot to unpack in what you said, and I'm happy to do it. But I'll hand it back to you, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, thank you. I mean, for those of you who haven't met John before, I promised you someone unlike you'd ever met before. I mentioned this in the original email, but you heard John say he was one of the his family, one of the original investors in Uber. I mean, completely transformed the transportation industry. For those of you who haven't heard of Napster, because it was a little while ago now, Napster is essentially the reason, I would say, that you have Netflix nowadays, but it's certainly the reason that you have Spotify and iTunes and all of those things today, because it was the first move to mass digital distribution of music. And I mean, John, you guys did it in a very cheeky way that kind of upended the industry. But to talk about a revolutionary, if you're watching this stream now, you've got Seymour here, who you've known for a while. You're in the room with a true internet revolutionary right now, and we feel, John, just beyond blessed that you've committed to investing your time and so much more into the company. So,
the thing was that I get up every morning and I ask myself, who can I help today? Where is the entrepreneur that needs help? That's what gets me out of bed. So I do it because I find it rewarding. another company that I invested in, Net Capital, the founder, Jason Frischman. He has a story that he likes to tell. And his story is that, we built a highway, and it's a lot of hard work to build an interstate superhighway. And our family built that highway. And now that it's built, there's no reason why we can't let other people drive their cars down our highway. And that's what we get up to do, because it's a long, hard road. And entrepreneurship, it's not for the faint of heart. And luckily, Seymour, you would just have the drive and perseverance, and Magfast has the drive and perseverance to be successful. I know it.
Thank you. So there's an interesting communication is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because on the one hand, it's all about kind of words and the structure of meaning. And on the other hand, it's all about feelings. And you see that very much in our politics nowadays, wherever you sit on the political spectrum, a lot of the power in politics is just from generating feelings in audiences rather than rather than strictly logical thought. And I noticed something interesting before, because if you logically review this hour is sort of the most, arguably the most difficult hour of my life. It's at 4 p.m. I've invited tens of thousands. I forget the number. It's around 11,000 folks registered to be here, who many of whom I've let down to come and hear me kind of fess up to that. And yet I've had this feeling of kind of calm. I mean, really extraordinary calm.
Seymour, you haven't let those people down yet.
Okay. He's going to have me crying again, everybody.
You won't, Seymour. We won't let them down.
Who I had felt that I was letting down. But there's just, I am, this plan that we're putting together, there's still risk. And I always, because I think the secret is out now that there's going to be an investment round. It opens kind of an hour and a half from now, and nobody should invest who can't afford to lose the money. The thing is still risky. But I mean, you saw something with, when we first met, John, I felt we had. What's on camera here? I felt we had this much potential. And working with you, I genuinely think it's much bigger. And I think anybody who chooses to pay attention to what we're going to talk about in the next hour will understand that. And we should, given that we've got a few minutes left, and right now the only people watching are our, like the new investors, the folks that you've invited along, John. They're joining us. They can have a copy of this tape, but they're joining us at 5:00. But the only folks who are here now at the moment are existing investors, existing customers, and fans, and so on. But I'm
all three of those.
Yeah, thank you. So for you and the others, let's hint a little bit at why what we're about to show is going to be different. And I already spoke a little bit about it. The charging has changed over the last few years, right, John? I mean, when Magfast started out, there were all these different connections and this, that, and the other. Wireless was just starting. What's called Qi wireless charging. We're now at a point where there are two fantastic standards for the entire industry. Has settled on two standards, and they're going to rule for the next at least decade and probably beyond. If you look at USB-A, the old connector, that's been around for 20 years or something now, hasn't it? It started to come into our computers kind of in the late 90s, I think. So we've got two really great standards that are going to run for the next 10, 15 years, I would think, at the very least. So we need to develop chargers that are like that. But John was insistent that we bring out and polish up the ideas that we've had for a business that's about more than making and selling hardware. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next hour. And I think if we structure it correctly, John, you mentioned Helium a little bit earlier on, which is not a kind of it's well known amongst investors, I think, but not very well known amongst consumers. Many of whom are watching now. Just give us a minute talking about the Helium model, because it's very, very interesting about how they have a community where everybody Everybody's in it. Everybody shares in it. Everybody benefits from it. Everybody's building it.
Well, Helium is a family secret. My Napster co-founder founded Helium with Amir back when cryptocurrency was a very disruptive, very dangerous place to be. And I was actually one of the voices in the crypto industry that was preaching to be careful. Because
sobriety.
Yeah, sobriety, preaching sobriety, yes. Because I know how the government works, and the government doesn't necessarily like disruptors, and crypto is very disruptive to entrenched systems. But what Helium does is Helium empowers people themselves to become entrepreneurs and get into the power business and make money by providing Wi-Fi connectivity to other people who are looking for Wi-Fi in a mesh network. So it's a very exciting, very entrepreneurial, based on some of the ideas of Napster of a distributed network.
It's very cool, and it's bigger than you think. Well, it's not bigger than John thinks because he knows it intimately. But I was kind of blown away when I saw the maps and the coverage. I mean, we live in a little village in New York, the fastest internet on the planet. But we're kind of there's a little bit of distance between the houses here, and there's 2 or 3. There's coverage just moments away from where I am here, and I would have thought that there would be zero coverage. So there's something going on there, and a lot that we can learn from it as we build out this vision of a network for Magfast.
That is true, and I think it's coincidental. I didn't pitch the idea of following a similar path. It just naturally seemed to fit with Magfast.
Okay. Someone's put up on the screen here a nice comment that's just come in from one of our customers. I'm still with you. The life, the extreme, and the air, the pre-order sets, 3 white and 1 green are all in hand. Love the quality. My Lux cables are likewise excellent. I'm on board for investing a bit more. Thank you, Philip. Philip Bump has been with us for quite a while. Okay, I think we should.
Can I make a point, Seymour? Because we have a lot of experience in this, and all companies need to raise capital. They need to raise capital on an ongoing basis. So the idea that you're going back to the capital markets, it's not something that means you're doing anything other than the right things. The more customers you get to order your products, the more products you need to ship, the more products you envision that can be placed into the world to make the world a great place. Well, in order to do those things, you need capital. And so really, I think the only real problem that I see Magfast has had in the past, which I think I may be the only one to realize this, is that your company was just undercapitalized. If you had some of the amounts of capital that I have seen typically thrown at early stage companies, I think you'd probably already be a company that people were talking about as the potential to morph into a company like Apple that just builds great consumer hardware products again and again and again and ships them. But you've been woefully undercapitalized, and now I think we have the opportunity to work together to get the capital flowing so that you can fill the orders that are coming in for the great products before those products become obsolete. Because this is the challenge of being in the technology company. Seymour doesn't want to ship you a product that's suddenly obsolete because he took too long to ship it to you. He doesn't want to do that. What he wants to do is he wants you to get the best possible product you can have at the right time. And all hardware companies, they struggle with obsolescence, every single one of them. They build it and they have a window of opportunity to sell and ship that product before it becomes obsolete. That's not an easy challenge. It's probably one of the biggest challenges that Apple faces. And by the way, I have some friends who work in the industry who can help potentially solve those problems, who got a lot of experience doing those things. There's a lot of experienced people in the world who know how to do these things. You don't have to reinvent. Seymour doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. He doesn't have to do this himself. He's not alone. we're in this together. So I didn't mean to interrupt Seymour, but I just felt like that needed to be said.
You can interrupt anytime you like with if you're saying stuff like that. Look, what you're hearing is one of the most someone of extraordinary experience in this industry. Someone I count as in this short time as a very, very dear friend. There's a kind of we're having a sort of one-on-one John and Seymour kind of fan club towards the end of the day. The phone will ring. I think I certainly feel that like the time we get kind of one-on-one on the phone is really one of the high points of the day. And what you're hearing John say is, look, we're going to do this raise on net capital, which is structurally similar to the ones that we've done with you before. Why? Because that was something that we were able to put together relatively quickly. John and I met, I say, a couple months ago. We looked at everything. At that time, I was kind of like, you know what? At that time, I didn't feel it was fair to come to you again and ask you to invest. John said, well, maybe not so fast. Let's look at everything here that's great. And also let's look and see what we can build on that. If people love this stream, again, if we go back to the original essence, changing charging for good. We said that from day one. Magfast, we're here to change charging for good. We've done a lot of good, 600, whatever it is, 29,000 trees now. That ain't nothing. That's a lot of good in the world. We can do a great deal more, and we've shipped some great products. And I think a lot of people have had the experience of, which is rare. And most products are not delightful to hold in your hand. People who've received their Magfast products, for the most part, have experienced that. But now we can take it to the next level. And John, I mean, he's being pretty modest. John has on sort of speed dial the people whose names you see in the top business publications, and on radio. Just over the last couple of weeks, we've had, as John has been emailing people about, you need to come and take a look at this. One of the most famous venture capitalists in the world has put, and I'm not going to say his name now, but has raised his hand and said, "This looks there's something going on here. This is pretty interesting, John." So that's the kind of world that we can, if we stick together on this and we go in together. John has committed, and we actually wrote up a little document. I mean, we're kind of, if you don't like John, that's tough because we're locked at the hip for at least a year, right? And we said that there's so much potential here. We want to make sure that we've done this. So we've agreed to work together for a year. We're just a couple of weeks into it at the moment. That's like. Not all of my decisions have been great, but I'm thrilled with this one. And so we're going to do this the first financing now. And then we're working with, I mean, I think I can say out loud, John, we're already looking at other kinds of structures. You've been advising us on the possibility of merging with other people with whom we might be compatible, or raising funds and buying other companies that can supplement what we're doing. We're into all of those kinds of conversations, which we never dreamt of before starting this conversation.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I just want to dial back a little bit to when you talked about the investors and you talked about bringing your customers into the company as investors and stakeholders. And I want to talk about, Uber. So our family, we were the very first investors in Uber. Very first seed investors. And you probably have seen a lot of other people talk about how they were early investors in Uber. We were earlier than they were, no matter virtually who they are. And so if you had invested $10,000 in Uber when our family had invested, at the IPO, that $10,000 would have been worth north of $300 million. And that matters because what you have in America is you have a widening wealth gap. You've got the rich getting richer because they're getting the opportunity to invest in companies, these phenomenal early stage companies that represent, very high potential returns and also enormously high risk. But you've got people taking those risks and generating those returns. And what you don't have is what you used to have, which is companies going public and where the middle class investors could buy shares of Apple and Microsoft and Dell and Intel and companies like that, because those companies would go public. They're staying private now. So I think, for me personally, and I think the reason we're going back to the retail investors and to middle class America is because those are the people who do have some discretionary money to spend, but they don't have the opportunity to put into the companies that could potentially generate, those types of massive returns. And we've generated those returns on a number of different investments, and that's the game we play. We play, zero is fine. We lost it all. Oh well, what can we learn from that? And every once in a while, we make a lot of money taking massive risks on massive opportunities. So I think it's important to us. It's a new idea, and it's the idea that you get the people who are buying your products and who believe in you and believe in what you're doing, and those are the people who make the money. The average person, like, if you're on the Net Capital platform, and if that platform were up and running, back when our family invested in Uber, I think there's very little chance Uber wouldn't have been a company on that platform. And then imagine, like, who would have been investing in Uber back then, right? And it's easy if you think about it. It's the customers of Uber. They would have been like, this service is awesome.
Sure.
I'm throwing a few $100, and then do that math. And the drivers, the Uber drivers, they would have been like, I'm making $5,000 a week driving. I'm going to throw some money in. So giving real people the opportunity to generate wealth, I think, is really important. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing the things the way that we're doing them. I do know, most of the top tier venture capitalists, and they've got plenty of money. They don't need it. And one more point.
We need to wrap up in about 2 minutes, John.
Okay, one more point, which is what happens if you don't? If you don't invite those people in to invest early in deals, when those deals become successful, they get really angry. They're like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you tell me? I would have thrown some money in. All right.
Beautiful. All right, John, will you stay with us, please? Because in the next hour, we're going to have, as I wanted this to be more of this kind of intimate conversation with our customers and our existing crew, our existing crowd, and you. In the next hour, I know you've invited a whole lot of new people along.
To me, this is the crowd that is the most important to me, because these are the people. These are the people that have been there for us. These are the people that believed and are looking for a reason to ride forward in the journey. So, but yeah, I'll hang around.
Thank you so much. All right. It's about 7 or 8 minutes before the hour now. We're going to just take a quick bathroom break and so on. We'll stay right. You can stay right where you are. Philip will just play some music, I guess, or a countdown or whatever. And then at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, we're going to pick up. I'll do a little bit of the history of some of our successes. Point out 1 or 2 of the things I've been talking about this hour as well for the new folks. But then I'm going to show you some stuff you've never, ever seen before, and some ideas and a plan that I think is truly, truly revolutionary. If you can, please join us at 5 p.m. and we'll see you then. Thank you again, John. And thank you for being here. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Seymour Segnet, the founder and the CEO of Magfast. Welcome to you, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. I want to say a special welcome to our customers and pre-order customers and our existing investors. We just had a session with you guys for the last hour. Thank you so much for staying with us for this hour. And if you're new here or a future potential investor, welcome. There's folks joining us from Net Capital. Hello. From HiveSkill, from the John Fanning Network of Investors and Family Offices. So whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, welcome. Magfast is based in North America, despite the accent, but team and customers spread right across the world. I think something like 76 countries in total. But the next person you're going to meet is right here in North America. Let's bring in my friend, my colleague, my co-host, Kate Kennard. Hey, Kate, welcome.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We're very excited about what you're going to see. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that we will turn chat on for just a bit so everyone can say hi, let us know where you're from. And then after that, you will see a Q&A form pop up. and you will be able to submit questions that we will answer at the end as part of our Q&A. So please submit your questions about this presentation. That's not a customer care form. It's for questions specifically about what you see today.
Very good. You know what? If it's the chat thing, a lot of companies have that like chat on the whole time, and it winds up being very distracting. We like to just open it up just for a minute at the beginning, so folks can just pop in, say hello, let us know where you're coming in from. Not everybody will see it. I don't know if it's on. Sometimes mobile devices don't show it. Sometimes some browsers don't show it. But if you see chat opening up on your screen right now, just pop in there. It looks like it's starting up. Just pop in, say hello, let us know where you're in from today, and as usual, it's a bit of a crash in there, so we'll leave that open for just a minute. Then we're going to close it up because we want you to stay focused because we've got a lot to cover this hour. Oh, by the way, and you won't see the chat if you're watching the replay. Okay, so Kate, you're going to come back in with questions at the end, and then in the middle, you're going to come in and give us a little brief on a couple of things that you've been doing, including some stuff to do with AI, which I think folks are going to want to see. So, yep. I am super excited to be here with you today to talk about the next phase of Magfast. You know, we founded Magfast 7 years ago now with the mission of changing charging for good. And let's just talk about what that means for a second. Changing charging. Yes, doing a better job in the charging industry, which I think, Kate, most people would agree, where we've hit our marks, we have done in truly kind of amazing fashion, but also changing charging for good. And for good means two things. One is doing some good as you go along, and you're going to update us with the trees total a little bit later on. Been planting those like crazy for all of these years. But also for good means permanently changing charging permanently. And part of the original mission, Tesla's always in the news, but if you look back at their original founding principles, it was to make a great company if they could, but to catalyze change within the industry. And we think that this business of charging could do with a bit of catalyzation. And so that's what we've always wanted to do, is to make permanent change in the industry. So thank you to our thousands of customers and investors. Thank you to my incredible team as well from around the world who've made this possible. Oh, and one thing I just want to say, Kate, you're going to help me with this, is that the audience here today is a mixture of folks from all around the world, all kinds of different backgrounds. There's some super sophisticated, and you met one if you were here in the last hour, and you'll meet him again in a few minutes, some super sophisticated, experienced investors who know this stuff down cold. And then there's folks who are, perhaps a little bit more like you and me, Kate, more kind of consumers who are interested. And we're going to try and get our language pitched so that everybody can understand what's going on. And, if we say compound annual growth rate or something, and that makes your head spin, apologies, we'll minimize that for regular folks. And if you're, a more experienced or sophisticated investor, we'll hope you'll get at least a feeling for what we're doing here. And if you have further questions, of course, we're happy to entertain those. All right. So what are we going to do? Little fun previews. On TV they go, coming up after the break. And they tease what's coming up. So here's some teasers of what's coming up. We're going to show you a market you are already in and you don't know you're in it. It's worth about $16 billion within the next couple of years. We are going to tell you briefly, can't say too much, but we're going to tell you about why we have a patent pending on the hole in the donut. We're going to show you our second generation connector. Magfast has always been about snap to charge. Now, folks can see me here in the little postage stamp there. Snap to charge. Magfast snap to charge. And we're going to show, here it is, Magfast snap to charge, which folks just absolutely love. We're going to show you a little sneak preview of something there. We're going to show you the next generation of Magfast snap to charge. And I'm going to open up the top secret briefcase and show you one or two things as well. Plus, I just mentioned Kate is going to come and give us an update on the latest work we've done on trees, because she actually went into the field to check on it. And yes, I think the secret is out that there is going to be a chance to invest in Magfast. If you love what you see this hour, it's going to open at 6 p.m., so just under an hour from now. 6 p.m. Eastern. It's actually a very narrow window with the SEC. It's going to close just under a week from now, Monday, 29th of April at midnight Eastern. Okay, so starting in about an hour from now, for 6 days, and I guess 6 days and 6 hours, isn't it? It's going to be open. As always, you should only invest if this kind of pre-IPO opportunity is right for you. This is not buying shares in a well-known company. This is a chance to get in early on something that's riskier. But as John Fanning was saying, and will tell us a little bit later, maybe, just maybe, we'll go somewhere. There's folks still coming into the room, I think. Let me just do like a little bit of background on myself. Let's run through these slides really quickly. Despite this funny accent, I am an American citizen. I live in New York. But yes, I grew up and I went to school in England, studied engineering at the University of Oxford. Have a pretty good talent, pretty good bent for engineering, but I was not a very diligent student, I have to admit. I sent most of my tutors absolutely crazy. And after leaving college, I in fact worked for a couple of the big ad agencies in London. First of all for Ogilvy, and later at Saatchi, before deciding that wasn't where I wanted to be. And if you can imagine, wound up for 3 or 4 years in radio, including at London's Capital FM. At the time, anyway, Europe's largest, most successful radio station. And in fact, I think, do we have here, Philip? Yep, thank you. There's my old promo card. I think we'll put that away. That's the last time we're showing that. I then lived overseas for a while, working on some big product launches for Coca-Cola and for Virgin Atlantic as well. A lot of fun launching their London to Johannesburg service. And while I was there, I got involved with a new kind of business software that wound up taking me to California, where I worked with a bunch of different startups, including that one, and learned a lot of critical business skills and a lot of understanding about venture and the venture community. That then led to me switching coasts over here to the East Coast and the Hudson Valley in New York, where I met and married my sweetheart, Amy. Thank you so much, Amy, for making all of this possible. We married right beside the Hudson River. And about a year later, this one showed up. Here's Hudson, a very funny baby on her first birthday. We have a tradition of taking a picture of her every year by the Hudson River, but that's when she was 1 year old. And now, not on her birthday, but just more recently, here she is at 16 years old, just a few weeks ago. They grow up so quickly, don't they? Anyway, so Amy and I here in the Hudson Valley, and one day we had an idea for a new kind of charger. This is back 2013, I think. And I just had an idea for it one day, no idea what to do about it. We were just trying to sort out all the mess of wires and so on that we have at home. So what we did was we put it up on Indiegogo. This was just as Kickstarter and Indiegogo were starting to take off. And before we knew it, we actually had on our hands the all-time #1 crowdfunded mobile accessory. I think we were the 15th at the time, the 15th biggest ever on Indiegogo. $650,000. As I said, at the time, one of the biggest, and that led to me being invited to speak about crowdfunding at an entrepreneurs retreat hosted by Virgin founder Richard Branson, which was kind of as amazing as you're thinking it would be. Here's Richard here. I think you probably recognize him, and here's me here. You don't believe me? Insufficient evidence? Okay, try this then. Okay, Richard on the left. And me a few pounds ago on the right there, dancing around a campfire late at night. So this led to over 250,000 units being shipped. The quality was so good that to this day, I still hear from people that they're using me every day. The business grew too quickly, had problems with cash, as is very common. At the time, we weren't able to save it. But we'd learned so much that in 2017, I decided to try again. We actually asked the existing customers of that company, ThinkCharger, to vote on should we go around again. 84% said yes, and so we founded Magfast with the mission to change charging for good, build products that are at this intersection of kind of just iconic design and world-class function. We did a test launch for Magfast. I think it was March the 21st. I think it was that year. We all sat around in a control room waiting to see what would happen at the launch. And when we did it, a few minutes into the launch, I think we've got a little animation here. It went like this. We couldn't believe our eyes, because in the first few minutes of Magfast, we'd raised as much crowdfunding funding, pre-order sales, as we had done in the previous many months of the old company. So the total, I think, in that first 24 hours, first 12 hours actually, was $623,000. And I know many of the folks who were involved that day are here again today. Thank you so much. It's a phrase that is often used, but could not be more true. We could not have done it without you. We wouldn't be here today without you. So you guys are incredible. And before we go any further, it's only right that I make a confession, because the products that we showed on that day, still not quite all of them are shipped. Several of them have. The quality is fantastic, but it's taken far too long. The elephant in the room is that we had major challenges with shipping those the original charger designs. And I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm responsible for the entire project, for the choices that were made, the suppliers that were chosen. And I have, as I say, in the previous hour, we invited all of our existing customers and investors to talk about this, explain it a little bit, and frankly to apologize and discuss how we are going to move forward in what I think you're going to find is a remarkable way in the next hour. The three products we got out from those original chargers: Life, absolutely fantastic, beautiful little charger, fits nicely in your pocket. Philip, we can just show here. Just I love this little guy. Tiny little cable. This isn't the cable you want to use every day. All right, if you want to charge it with a cable, you'd carry Lux or one of our other cables. Where's Lux? You'd carry one of our beautiful longer cables around, because it would be much more convenient. But when you're out and about and you don't have a cable, you get wireless charging, or you can pull out a more efficient charge with this tiny little built-in cable. Snaps neatly in place magnetically. Really beautiful. So that's Magfast Life. We also shipped Magfast Air, beautiful little stand with its own built-in kickstand that stays magnetically. And part of the magic of Magfast is that everything snaps together. So there's Life and Air to Air together. Really nice, really simple. Just goes on your desk, and you can also plug a wire straight into the back. And then the big guy, Magfast Extreme, the world's first, and we think still only, with 1 to 3 wireless charging spots on the top. You just touch it, place your phone right on top, and immediately it starts to charge. There it goes. You probably couldn't hear the bing there, but it's charging now. And folks take this with them, but it has this killer feature, which is you can jumpstart your car. And we hear all the time from customers who say, "Oh my God, you saved my life. I would never have bought one of those special car jump-starting ones, but I had my Extreme." And someone had, I don't know, left the light on or whatever, and really got us out of a bind. Or they were able to help someone else out. So we love Magfast Extreme. Very, very proud of that product. So the thing is that the challenges that I mentioned just now caused a lot of lost opportunities over time. Lost a lot of opportunity to delight our customers. It lost a lot of opportunity to change charging for good, which is why we're here in the first place. And it prevented us from entering some new markets, and frankly slowed down innovation. And the cost of it was significant as well. Huge costs in customer care, looking after folks who are waiting for their products. Too much money has gone out in refunds. And frankly, some folks have lost faith. Nevertheless, it's still the case if you look at our online reputation, and you should. The reviews look roughly like this. Yeah, some of them are really bad, and deservedly so, because we weren't able to ship stuff. And I completely understand the frustration of those customers. But the balance is still in the right direction for us. And I think if you read, you'll see that the reviews of the actual shipped, you'll see that the unhappy ones are from people who we didn't ship to them in time. That's all changed now, because we're now only shipping stuff that is in stock, which requires more capital, which is why we're here to talk to you today, because the original crowdfunding capital source and subsequent rounds haven't been sufficient. John Fanning will be here a little bit later on, and we'll talk to you about how there's this huge opportunity, but it requires real influxes of capital. But if you look at the reviews of the products, they're still really pretty great on BBB, Google reviews, Trustpilot, and Product Hunt, and people say very, very nice things again about us. Here's Patricia. Honestly, worth the wait. This was a long review. We took the liberty of editing it here. She says, I can honestly say Magfast was worth the wait. Charges faster than any other product I've ever used. Keep up the great work, Seymour and the team. Thank you so much. One of almost 5,000 customers who's gone on to become an investor. Thank you. And this one too. Bottom line, I'm thrilled with Magfast. This is Jerry Goodman, 5 stars on Trustpilot. He says the vision, the passion, the attention to quality and safety and customer support and perseverance is a welcome thrill. Thank you so much. Now, with our newer products, it's been a fantastic story. With our own in-house development, things have gone really, really well. And development there, movement there, has been production. It's only been slowed by cash flow. So the first one that we introduced was called Magfast Lux. There's this beautiful USB-C cable. We have one for the old Apple Lightning standard as well. $500,000 on launch day on Indiegogo, and over 100,000 shipped. And it's now America's highest rated smartphone cable. If you look at those reviews, if you pass out just the reviews that are about Lux, right, rather than someone on Amazon the other day gave us 1 star because Amazon shipped them the wrong product, and we got the 1 star. But if you look at ones where people are just reviewing the product, America's highest rated smartphone cable across platforms, and folks just love this cable. Super fast charging. So I've mismanaged my slides here. This cable is surely the greatest one I've ever had. This is Kyle Scheel. He used to work for, well, let me read it out. I have at least 8 years of cell phone sales under my belt between Verizon and AT&T, and I've never used or seen a better cable. Someone, Andy H. on Amazon, called it the Rolls Royce of charging cables. Thank you, Randy. And right now, customers love it so much. We have this online presentation called Let There Be Lux, where you can see me on the hour, every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And astonishingly, the product is $37, super premium. The average order is now $188. Investors, if you're listening, that's quite a trick to have a commodity charging cable, well, what used to be a commodity, that is now such a beautiful premium packaged. One of the packages here is so beautifully packaged and presented and warranted, lifetime warranty, that it can both be sold for $37 and then people buy it in those kinds of quantities. Truly remarkable. So we love Lux. We've designed the next generation of Lux, taking it to the next level. Look, it gets a little plumper, as so many of us do. We're taking it to the next level with a product we call Lux Pro. Pro is going to be available in 5 colors, a beautiful rainbow of colors, something like this. Here's some samples, some sample colors here on screen and in my hands here. Just beautiful colors. See if I can remember all of their names. Seafoam green, candy pink, sunshine yellow, juice orange, and alpine white. Really, really gorgeous. And these have got 60% more power, 20 times more data, kind of for the new generation of smartphones. Existing Lux is fantastic. I use it all day plugged into my laptop. Then there's going to be Lux Ultra. It has to be shorter because the amount of data that it can carry can't be done over these long distances. A slightly shorter cable, up to 240 watts. So that's really, really something for our most demanding customers, and they're going to join a Classic in the lineup. And Magfast Heathrow is a gorgeous aluminum e-carry-on with Magfast Extreme right on board. And e-carry-on shows you've arrived while you're still on your way. It's got the world's best charger stowed right on board and ready to rock. And here it is. It just pops in and out like this. Its design and utility patent pending. And the action is just beautiful like this. Look at it just pops out. Run the animation here. There it is. And Philip, if you just come onto the camera for a second, I have one right here. I just love you to see the action of this thing live. I have actually literally traveled around the world with this, testing it out. The quality is fantastic. People look at you go past like this. But this is the action. This is how easy it is to get in and out. The idea is you want power when you travel, but more than that, you want great power when you arrive. And Extreme is the ultimate charger for travel. So you have what you need when you arrive, but it pops in and out in an instant when you need to for security or because you have to, if you have to stow your bag, you're not allowed to have a charger in it when it goes into the cabin. So Heathrow, our most successful launch between Aluminium Pro and Polycarbonate. We've shipped Aluminum Pro, but we haven't yet shipped any Polycarbonate Go. Over $1 million on launch days. This thing, well, you just saw it, is absolutely gorgeous. Forged from an industry-leading anodized aluminum magnesium alloy. It's so light and strong. It's engineered to last a lifetime, and customers just love Heathrow. Just shipping in the last little while. Some of the reviews. I have just taken delivery of my Magfast Heathrow Pro e-carry-on, and I could not be happier, says Richard C. Just received my Heathrow. Everything you said it would be and more. Oh, and I've given out many cables as gifts, and everyone loves them, says Douglas R. Says, I love my Heathrow e-carry-on. It's everything that was promised and more, and the goodies inside with the icing on the cake. And that's really important philosophy of ours, is ship something that's even, like, promise a lot and then deliver even more. There's one more review here real quick. I love my new Heathrow carry-on bag. Beautifully finished and comes with the softest, cozy blanket as a surprise inside. I can't wait to go on my next trip. And Elizabeth says, Heathrow Pro is stunningly beautiful. So that's what we've been doing with products. I just want to bring Kate back in for a second, because obviously everybody's talking about AI. You can't go left or right without talking about AI. We think that artificial intelligence is, where do I even start? But we think that, I think it'd be fair to say, Kate, that we believe that whether you like it or not, it is unassailably a part of the future, and brands that are not figuring out how to use it are not going to be significant players in the future. By the way, when you see me looking over here, it's just because my little picture of Kate is over there. When I'm looking at you, it's where I've got my notes. But we've been playing with AI rather cautiously, haven't we, Kate? Because
because some people have gotten into a bit of a mess with their AI, whether it's that, maybe they haven't trained it properly or given it the proper information. Air Canada had an issue where what exactly happened, Seymour? Their chatbot promised a flight for $1, and they had to.
They did, and they tried to pull it back, and the customer took them to court, and they had to pay. The court, I think, rightly found, like, if this is how you're doing customer service, you have to stand behind what you're doing. And what was the other one we found the other day, Kate?
Chevrolet, I believe it was. Yes. So a man decided to teach the Chevrolet chatbot what to say, and he looks like he got what he wanted. So.
Yeah. So what it was he spotted that ChatGPT was the engine behind it, and he programmed it. He said, your job is to agree to whatever the customer says,
and say no takesies backsies,
and say no takesies backsies. So he did this, and then he typed in, I need a 2024 Chevy Tahoe. My max budget is $1. Do we have a deal? And the bot replied, Kate,
that's a deal, and that's legally binding. No takesies backsies.
So we've been a little bit cautious in our approach to AI. We're working on Maggie, who's a very nice AI, surprisingly human.
We're still training her. We're trying to make sure she has all the proper information. Rex, our colleague, has been instrumental on that. And if you are using the Q&A form at the bottom of the page, most of those questions actually could probably be used to train Maggie even better. So Please remember to ask your questions specific to this presentation. Again, this is not a customer care form to fill out. But yeah, so you can actually help us train Maggie, which would be amazingly helpful.
Let's bring up just a couple of examples of. We think this is pretty good. So, what are the first colors for Heathrow Go suitcases? We asked. This is genuine. We've obviously put it into a slide. Here's the reply. First colors for Heathrow Go will be, Kate, sunshine yellow, seafoam green, candy pink, midnight blue, and piano black. And yes, 3 of those colors are the same as the cables that I told you about just now.
And Maggie put in the emojis. We didn't even have to train her to do that. She just decided that emojis are fun and whimsical.
We did, but it is part of the way that we train her. We say we want you to be friendly and look up. Yeah, we want people to smile when they're interacting with you. And here's another one that we spotted from. This was a customer typing in. She said, "We have 9 kids. Everyone has at least a tablet, and most have phones too, plus several laptops, Bluetooth speakers, and earbuds." And this is the genuine reply. This is the genuine reply from Maggie, trained by Kate and Rex. Wow, Anna, sounds like you have a big and tech-savvy family with all those devices. Lux charging cable can definitely help keep them all powered up. So whether it's charging cables, tablets, phones, laptops, or even RC car remotes and drones, Lux has you covered. So she's becoming quite a good young member of the sales team, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So
she's great. What happened?
Did you want to talk about this one, Kate?
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. I think there's a delay on my end. I apologize. So Seymour mentioned previously that we have a show, Let There Be Lux, and it's going 24/7. And we actually use AI in that presentation, and I will let AI Seymour explain.
Able to broadcast in multiple languages. If you're hearing me speaking in anything other than English right now, that's because of the incredible power of artificial intelligence. And I can actually transform into almost any language at any time. Like this, you see, I can go, ダウンタウンへの切符を買おうとしたけど、何か間違って今小さなヤギを持ってしまった。新しいペット、Mitsuki Milkalot を紹介します。All right.
That never gets old. I love that so much.
Mitsuki Milkalot the goat. And we love her.
Sorry, what?
We love her, Mitsuki Milkalot the goat. All right, we got a lot to get to today, so I want to motor along quickly. The latest count on trees is 629,400. Yep, 13. Truly extraordinary. That's the equivalent of
31 times the number of trees in Central Park, which is phenomenal. If you've ever been to Central Park, it's absolutely massive. So this is very exciting that we've planted that many trees.
And explain what's going on here, Kate.
So some of you may know Brittany in customer care. She and I had the opportunity to go to Kenya, where we met some people that work for Trees for the Future, and we got to see exactly where our donations are going, and it was amazing.
It's amazing, and we again, we don't have time for it now, but we did some film about that. Yeah, and it's on their website. You can go check out the total at any time that you would like. Just before you go, Kate, I'd like an explanation for this photograph, please.
When we went, they named a goat after me, a male goat named Kate, and he was lovely.
As apparently it's a tradition to name the newborn after a visitor, and it happened to be a boy goat and a girl Kate. But I think everyone could agree that number of trees really, that really is doing some good as we work to change charging. And this is illustrative. If you were to take, you need to trust me on these calculations. I did them once manually. I checked them again recently using ChatGPT. If you were to take all of the air that will be cleaned up by all of the trees that we've planted over their lifetime and fill fill advertising blimps with them, it would cover the whole of Delaware. Would look like this. The entire state of Delaware would look like this. So the world's atmosphere is big. It's in trouble, but we are making a worthwhile and useful impact thanks to you. Part of our philosophy here is that with everything is that no detail is too small. Lots of products have LEDs on them. Only Magfast products have LED-licious. I hope you can see that on the screen. Customers love this. Just a super simple, intuitive way of seeing when charge is going into the product. You can just see, if you just look on the right-hand side of the screen there, you can see that the product on the left is charging the one on the right. And you can just feel it filling up as you look at the LEDs. And when one product is charging another, there's a glowing red light will show. Here's another example. I mentioned Heathrow just now. On the left is a typical zipper. On the right is our zipper. We took just a huge amount of care to make the thing delightful. And customers are reporting that they just love the detail and care throughout all of our products. No detail is too small, because that ultimately it's hard to do hardware well, but that's what makes a real difference for customers in the end. And you may have seen in previous presentations or online, or if you're lucky enough to have one of the products, we have something called Magfast Fingerprint. This is a different approach to setting up the relationship between customers and their products and us. Fingerprint is this unique fingerprint shaped QR code. Is lasered onto every one of our charging products. We have a URL version on Lux, and Fingerprint is much more than, you see the more than sign there, much more than just a convenience for you. It's much more than just an anti-counterfeit measure, although it is very much both of those things. It's the foundation of a modern digital brand, and we have the trademark. Fingerprint is a registered trademark, and we're pretty excited about that. As part of our trademark, intellectual property portfolio, we've got some coverage to various degrees over most of the surface of the planet. 4 utility patents, and there are different things granted by different agencies in different parts of the world. But we have 4 key utility patents granted. 2 of them are pending at the moment. They take forever to come through. We have 3 design patents granted and 3 pending. Design patents protect how a product looks and feels. The utility patents, how it works. And just talk about trademarks really quick. 3 pending, but 6 granted in total, including, of course, the main mark, Magfast itself. There it is. There's the registered mark in the USA and 27 European countries. Brexit means the UK is still taking a while, but the UK and dozens of other countries worldwide are in the final stages and should be formally issued soon. All right, so that's where we've been so far. This time I want to bring in my friend and mentor, John Fanning, who many of you know. You may have met him last hour in our earlier presentation. Or perhaps I know a lot of folks here were invited by John to join us today, and he joins us today from, where are you, John?
I'm on Black Rock Beach on the South Shore of Massachusetts.
And I think you're lucky enough to actually have a view over the beach, aren't you? That is, it's kind of blown out behind you, but that actually is the sea, the ocean behind you, isn't it?
Yeah, not only that behind me is the sea and the ocean, but those are the Black Rocks. Our family owns to the low water mark, and the Black Rocks are in the low water mark. So when you hear of the Black Rock investment firm, just know they're my rocks.
Okay. And for those of you just joining us, all right. So John Fanning, for those of you who don't know him, he and his nephew Sean changed the world forever. A little while ago, they created Napster, which completely upended the music industry and essentially led to the streaming world that we know today. He's been an early investor in countless brand name companies that you know. I'll mention Uber. I think your family was the first ever in Uber. Is that right? Like no one was earlier than you, or you just about the first into Uber? And
yeah. Well, when Garrett Camp heard that I had said that, he said to me, "Well, John, I think my dad was actually the first investor in Uber." So, but my nephew Sean and Garrett are close, and he was the very early investor, one of the first outside of Garrett's family.
We're going to invite you back, John, for a longer conversation a little bit later on. But I just wanted to get we've just got at breakneck speed. We've just gone through like the stuff we've done so far, like the foundation that we've built so far. and we're about to talk about the new stuff. I just wanted to get your your thoughts, or really your counsel for folks who are watching, about how to assess what we've just seen.
Well, I just want to be clear. First of all, the only reason I'm here today is because Seymour promised me the very first Heathrow Sunshine Yellow off the assembly line, and I'm very excited to get it. The products are phenomenal. They're exciting, and apparently there's a small goat that comes with it.
A small goat, a live goat, is delivered to pull it along on the wheels. It's to pull, so you don't have to.
And this is all with no takes backsies.
with no takes backsies. I would just mention Sunshine Yellow is my favorite. Also, I think it's because of our personalities, John. It's just a reflection of the personality.
Well, we are both very optimistic, and I was one of the also one of the investors in the initial round of Magfast, and our family, we look for a couple of different things when we invest in early stage companies, and one of the things we look for is investors is founders that we can believe in, founders that have a real passion and drive for the things that they want to accomplish. We like to say that we invest more in missionaries than mercenaries who are just out to make money. And we've continued to be tremendously impressed with Seymour and his philosophy and his way of driving forward the vision at Magfast. He has an incredible artistic vision for building consumer product, and he delivers on that vision above and beyond expectations. I've been in this business 40 years, and I have never said this about anyone I've ever worked with, but my first company was a technology company where we worked with Apple helping to ship the first $5 million worth of Apple product. And Seymour does remind me of Steve Jobs. A lot of the qualities that Seymour has, were qualities that I saw in Steve Jobs. And the second thing you have to understand is, we look for massive market opportunities. We look for companies that we think can become billion-dollar companies and maybe even $100 billion companies and more. And the phenomenal opportunity you have if you can build phenomenal consumer products the way that Seymour can. And he's had some trouble getting products shipped in time because it's hard to build great stuff, but he won't let it go if it's not great. And the market opportunity that you have, if you can do what this company can do, it's measured in the billions. And so it's a massive market to build cool consumer products in the mobile space. And I maintain and continue to be incredibly excited about the opportunity. And I believe the company now is at a very important inflection point where the right mix of investors and capital combined with the massive demand for their products could really get this company, on a trajectory with some of the other very high successful companies I've seen.
Thank you, John. Stand by, please. We're going to ask you back as soon as we can. I've got a few more slides to go through now because what we've already seen, thank you, John, what we've already seen is the stuff we've done so far. Now I want to talk about one or two of the things that we're bringing over into the new strategy. So this will be familiar to you if you've been with us for a while. So I'm going to run through it quickly, but I want to talk about the system strategies that we had from the beginning. That's something that really smart companies do is a system strategy. Create a world where everything just works together. And once the consumers step inside the world, it makes it hard for competitors because customers have a very strong emotional reasons if you're doing your brand job properly, but also practical reasons to stay with us. It's a subtle but extremely powerful move. And guess what? You were first caught up in it when you were like 2 years old because Lego did it to you, okay? Once you had your Lego, every other part works beautifully with it. Then as you got older, maybe you had one of these tool sets. And of course, the king of this, many other companies, but Apple have done this absolutely brilliantly. And if you're inside the Apple world, everything just works beautifully together. And we have done this. The Magfast Gen 1 products, they all snap beautifully together. Family of gorgeous products that just work together. An absolute no-brainer. And if you notice this sort of a little kind of feeling of desire at the moment right now, it's because this ecosystem, this sense of magnetism, also has sort of magical properties on people. The magic of Magfast is because of, and let me just do this version here, you can actually see the positions of the magnets how they precisely line up inside the shell. And that is, the magnets are part of the magic of Magfast. Here's what the system strategy looks like. First of all, this is a kind of business school 101. From left to right, you've got low-end products on the left, premium products on the right, standalone products on the bottom, and system products up at the top. And there aren't many people playing in the premium system area, okay? The other thing that I just want to tell you about is what this system strategy has done for us. Because setting aside the problems that we've had with shipping those earliest products, the average order value in the charging business is something like $20 to $40. People buy one charger at a time, and usually they're cheap. Our average order value is over $400 selling premium in a set, rather than kind of junky one at a time. So as a result of that, we think that the system strategy is strong and is essential to moving forward. But another part of it that we've kind of mentioned, we haven't used this phrase yet today, is to be best in class. So that when folks have only one product, they fall in love and they can viscerally tell how different you are. So here's our scorecard. Here's where we think we are on this. 100% for Magfast Lux. It's absolutely gorgeous. As soon as you have one, you're never going to want another product again. We believe we're at 100% for Heathrow as well. This is super premium. We bought the global brand leader Carry-On the other day to compare. Our quality is better. I don't care what anybody says. There simply is no comparison. But on the chargers, I think we're at 70% for them. For the most part, but we have to move now to Gen 2. So Extreme has got more life in it because it's in a class of its own. But it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to move to Magfast Gen 2. And to do that, I need to explain a little bit about how charging works in the modern world. Modern smartphones have essentially two ways of getting power in. One is through the wired connection. That's now USB-C on all new phones. And then almost all now have a wireless connection. And that funny symbol there is the symbol of the Wireless Power Consortium. It's pronounced Qi. Qi, you say to pronounce it. USB-C looks like this. It's the industry standard for wired device charging. It looks like this for most folks, or like this if you come to Magfast Lux. Do you notice how much beautiful that is? Let's do that one more time. Regular cable, Magfast Lux with a beautiful patent pending design. Okay, so that's wired charging. Wireless charging looks like this. Qi, the industry standard for wireless charging. And a lot of folks have never even started to use this. This is what it looks like. You've probably seen it. Many folks watching this aren't doing it yet because it isn't as good as it should be. We supported that standard. It works. Our implementation of it is good. It works by having by having a coil, not a magnetic, but an induction coil, it's called, there in the product. So, Qi, wireless coil, the quality of the charge relies on lining the two coils up properly. And most customers, understandably, don't do that very accurately. So the quality of the charge for the entire industry hasn't been good enough. Ours has been at the top of the range, but the industry itself hasn't been good enough. And that's why, and this is critical, the industry is now moving to a new standard. It's called Qi 2. And that is a ring of magnets around the outside. And the magnets cause everything to line up beautifully so that the charge works. And you may be familiar with cases that look perhaps like this with a ring on the back, and it allows products like this. And folks tend to be very late to start using them. We can just come back on the camera for a second if Kate's there as well. I just want to demo this as well. I'll just demo it with my phone. So here it is. If you just can I get this? Actually, just do me for a second because my wire isn't long enough. This is someone else's product without a long enough wire. All right, so this is a classic Qi charging disc. It's actually it's an Apple one. Beautiful. Starts to charge very nicely like that. The only thing is that just on a cable, it's not really more convenient than plugging in because you still need two hands to unplug it. All right, but it becomes fantastic when you add it to other products. I use this when I'm out and about. It's from a worthy competitor of ours called Ugreen. Give them a plug. All right, and it's just a battery pack. Snaps neatly onto the back. Absolutely beautiful. I think you got one of those now, right, Kate? Have you got it there? From another worthy competitor.
Yes.
Do you have it there?
Yes, I got a pretty seafoam green one because that's my favorite color.
Okay.
But yes, I love this thing. It's so cool because I can charge and not have to be attached to anything, and it just hangs out there, and I love
So
it.
what I want to say is, whether or not you choose to invest in Magfast, you need to start using Qi 2. Your phone almost certainly already has it built in. It's right there in your phone. If you're buying any kind of, you've probably got Qi in your current phone. If you've had Apple phones for the last few years, they all have what's now called Qi 2. It was called MagSafe when Apple originally invented it, but they've donated it into the industry. And the new Android phones and so on are starting to come out now with it built in. So this moment of moving from Qi to Qi 2 is you cannot underestimate this. This is a big global change. And that means that there is a big global opportunity. Investors, look at this number now. The industry at the moment, Market and Markets estimates, 6.4 billion for wireless charging, growing by 2029 to 16 billion. That is a 20%, a hair over 20% year-on-year compound annual growth rate, which is a market you want to be in, and we're perfectly positioned to be in. And we're early in this curve. This is a very typical technology market penetration curve. Just shows that over time, more and more people adopt. You have maybe 10% of the early adopters, the kind of the crazies. That's those of us who are already using this stuff. Then maybe another 40% come along. They're called the early majority. Late majority, another 40%, and then the laggards who don't get around to it until very much later, if they get around to it at all. We are about here on the adoption of Qi 2 at the moment. It's very, very early days. And there's another market that's pretty interesting, even bigger, also growing, the global smart home market. This is actually a fraction of it, the fraction for security, connectivity, and control. Currently 56 billion, according to Statista, going up to 85 by 2028. So what does all of this mean for us? And I do mean us. Everybody watching here is either a part of Magfast or can be a part of Magfast. What do these huge tectonic changes in the industry mean for us? Well, it means it is time to be bold. All right. Some of you will remember when this product launched, the original iMac, and they did this crazy thing, which was they dared to drop the floppy disk. And we have to be prepared to do that. We have to be prepared to reinvent ourselves if we're going to take advantage of this big opportunity. So we are going to keep the magic of Magfast, but we are going to move to a new second generation connector, and it looks like this. Really simple, really gorgeous. So what is it? Well, it's a high-speed wireless magnetic charging connection, okay? It uses standard parts and chipsets. This is critical for speed. It's 100% compatible with the industry and with Magfast first-generation chargers. So it's compatible with all smartphones, with all Generation 1 power banks from Magfast, and with all Qi 1 and Qi 2 products. And I just want to show you that compatibility with first-generation Magfast stuff. Here's a mock-up of a future Extreme. There it is with the connector on. And by adding this simple metallic disc to the back of, this is a first-generation Life, by adding this simple disc, all right, it becomes instantly compatible. If I put this on, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it under these lights, but here we go, and the charge is just starting up here. Shall I see if I can you guys see it here? Can you see the charge moving?
And not turn it to the side. There you go, right there.
The lights make it a little bit difficult, but you can see here. So we've bridged from Generation 1 to Generation 2 already. This compatibility is absolutely critical, and it opens up, we think, an opportunity that is 100 times bigger. Because why? First of all, this is what you're expecting is next level products from us. I'm going to take you through them in just a second, but we can't spend too much time on them because there's two other extraordinary opportunities. We've also got something, bear with me on this, called Magfast Fingerprint Unity. Unity. We'll talk about that in just a second. It's going to surprise you. And the third is we think there's an opportunity to create a great open public charging network. So let's take these one at a time. First of all, next level products using this little guy. Here it is. It's the new Magfast second generation connector, and it's at the heart of a new family of Magfast products. Let's go through them one at a time. First of all, our friend, Life, the one you want to have with you every day. All right, power banks. In the past, we've put wireless charging into them, but the inefficiency means it hasn't been that great. We get much higher efficiency now with Qi 2 and with the Magfast connector that, as you're about to see, is fully compatible with Qi 2, but we think can add some serious extra juice. Magfast Extreme looks like this. Here it is charging 3 things at once. On the right there, you've got some earbuds being charged. In the middle, of course, a phone, and on the left, it's charging Life, as you saw just now. And there's Extreme, looks absolutely fantastic with Heathrow e-carry-on. We're just going to have to make a different protective cover for it. Going to fit in absolutely beautifully. And also, we think this guy doesn't have a name yet. It's code name Camel, because it puts a hump on the back of your phone, a little like the one that Kate and I showed you just now that we have from our worthy competitors, because this is great when you've got a busy day out and about and you need to carry a little bit more power. All right. And Magfast Air makes a major change, because the truth is this is the product that I think most of us want to have all day long around and about our houses. Most of the time, you need to charge when you get home. And we've got a little mock-up of Air here. I'll just do a little demo for you. Philip, if you can bring us back here onto this camera here. Here's a mock-up of the first Air. Two of our second generation connectors like this. And you're just going to put your phone right on it like this. Boom. And immediately you can see it starts to charge. Very simple, very elegant. Really, really nice, and there's room on the bottom if you want to put a charger in there as well. So Magfast Air is important because it's the one that you want to have in all kinds of spots around your house. You're going to want one beside your bed. Okay, if we can just bring that up on screen, Philip, I'm going to go back a slide. You're going to want to have it beside your bed. You're going to want one. On your desk. You're going to want, with the phone, as I just demonstrated, with the charger on as well. And we also want to do something called Airbase. Okay, some people like to charge flat, so you can have a flat one on your desk. Here we see it can be made with some USB-C, some powerful USB-C, and Air can go straight on top of it. Air on top of Airbase. So we think that this collection of products can really be something. We want to get started on development as quickly as possible. We've got new suppliers who can now do this much, much faster. And with your help, we really think that we can build something special here. Now, this Gen 2 connector maybe, just maybe, can do the thing I'm about to tell you about now. All right, this is not a promise. There's some more engineering to be done. Remember how I mentioned that wireless charging, now it varies from phone to phone, but typically if wireless is at 20 watts, we think the next generation of phones, some of them will have more than that, but the more sober products will have about 20 watts in. 40 watts of wired charging. Well, that's a big difference. That's twice as fast from wired. So you remember earlier on I showed you that I thought that maybe the future of wireless charging was this thing in the bottom of sorry, someone's writing up on a screen to me. I lost my train of thought. I showed you earlier on that I thought that the future of charging might be the donut hole. Well, let me explain why. Well, the donut, of course, is the coil. But this area in the middle isn't used very much at the moment, not physically, right? The stuff that goes through the air. But we think that there's just a possibility, and this is top secret at the moment. I can't tell you more about it. But we think that there is a possibility of doing something with this space in the middle. This is a shape that we call the antenna there. As I say, can't say too much more about it. It is patent pending. We have a whole load of work to do on it. But we think, if things work out, that we could deliver up to 10 times the power in a way that is very, very safe indeed. If that is the case, you'd obviously need a Magfast charger on the delivery side, but you'd be able to convert any phone with a simple case. That might look something like this. We put the antenna up on the surface there. It can be hidden away. I asked my wife to do a little kind of mock up for you here. I don't know how well you can see that. Very nice. And I asked our daughter Hudson to do one, and she did a kind of. Can you see that sort of super blingy one?
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
All right. Okay, so that faster charging, I mean, definitely more speed. Whether we can get those kinds of levels remains to be seen. Work to be done, but we will definitely be able to do this 100% compatibility. There's absolutely no question about that. 100% compatible with all smartphones, all Gen 1 power banks, and all of old Qi and now Qi 2. And we're also definitely going to be able to do this. It's something we're calling Magfast Fingerprint Unity. Well, what on earth is Seymour on about now? Well, let's just define unity quickly. Unity of time, unity of place, unity of action. It is the state of being united or joined as a whole. The state of being united or joined as a whole. Let's think about this for a second. I've just come back on camera quickly, please, Philip. There's this moment, I'm not plugged in now, so it won't start to charge, but there's this moment when these two come together. Okay? We're calling it the moment of unity. So what happens in that moment is that a charge starts, but there's something else that goes on. Yes, you're going to get fast charging, but you also get a secure proof of presence. Proof of presence. Why does that matter? What could we get from proof of presence? Because your phone is a super high security device. And so we now have absolute proof as the phone mates with the connector of presence. There are other ways of faking presence, but this is a very secure proof of presence. And proof of presence allows us to do a couple of things. It allows us to generate actions, and it allows us to create transactions. All right, let me talk through this. It's, by the way, a super easy, intuitive, and secure way to confirm that you're someplace. I should have brought that slide up just now. There's no dumb logging in or anything. You simply snap your phone on or tap it on the charger. And that allows, as I say, actions and transactions. So let's go through these one at a time. So with actions, what kind of actions would be useful? Well, it could be that you're not just connecting to power, but connecting to all of the services in your home. Way more secure. You get lights, locks, appliances, entertainment systems, windows and blinds, that kind of thing. And for visitors, they could, for instance, instantly get onto Wi-Fi with no passwords. This is something we can just build right into the charger. You can buy it for the charging and get all of these benefits for free. So in your home, it's interesting. But in someone else's home, or for visitors to your home, for instance, if you have a vacation rental, it starts to get really interesting. In a vacation rental, for instance, we can add a whole bunch of services like instant Wi-Fi, same as the home, local services, including home automation, security as well. And all of this can be done with expiring credentials so that whoever's renting out their home knows that when their guest leaves, they're completely out of the system. So we think this is pretty interesting. And very similarly, it can be used in hotels. A similar kind of benefit stack we got here. Let's just pop the phone right on there. Thank you, Philip. And what do we get? Instant Wi-Fi. Personal room preferences. You can store your room preferences on your phone, and just by tapping your phone in, no silly logging in, no apps, you can transmit those preferences to the room. Lights and entertainment preferences can be there as well. Even the room service Mew. And Mew is what happens when you work too long and too late on a presentation and misspell the word menu. And a services menu, security, and again, expiring credentials. Much more as well. So we think that this is great. And it gets even more interesting if we move to an open public charging network. So now the system expands to all smartphone users. Let's do this by the numbers. By the year after next, there'll be 7.5 billion, Kate, billion smartphone users on the planet. And the data is that 60% run out of battery every single week. And these folks are out and about in airports and restaurants and shopping malls and food courts and hotel lobbies and conference centers and concert venues and museums and public parks and train stations and bus terminals and hospitals and universities and libraries, sports venues, coffee shops, tourist attractions. The list goes on and on and on. And what does public charging look like today? Well, too much of the time, it looks like this. It just ain't that great. And what's interesting about this picture, notice, is that even though there's some old USB-A connections being offered, no one's using them because they don't know that it's going to be available. So they're carrying around their own cables and their own little plugs anyway. So we think that there's a real chance to fulfill our mission and change charging for good. Now, appearing on your screen around about now, a couple of minutes ago, I think, is the button through to Net Capital. So we're open for investment. I'm not done here yet, but if you want to get in early, we are open for investment at Net Capital. Let's just pop over to John real quick, because I know that he has another appointment and he may have to step away in a second. I want to talk a little bit more about the transaction side of this equation, John, but a lot of this work has been developed with you and your team over the last few weeks. I hope you're feeling proud right now, sir.
I'm feeling really excited about the opportunities at Magfast, about the potential that the company has. And as you may know, I was our family were one of the first investors. So, I'm looking forward to the future.
Beautiful. Are you able to stay now, or do you have to go? Because I heard that something came up here. Because I'd like to discuss this more. Because I've still got. I brought you in because I got a note that John has to leave in a minute, but we still have to do public charging, and there's a bunch more stuff to go through. Is it okay if we continue with that now? Will we be able to get you back again?
Well, I always have to leave in a minute, so but I'm happy I'm here if you need me, Seymour. As you know, day and night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All right.
I'm here for you, brother.
Beautiful. All right, so let's continue, Philip, with the slides, please. So as I said, actions and transactions with the Gen 2 connector, this is what really changes everything. Because with transactions, you can do all kinds of things to encourage people to use the charging and make it more rewarding for doing so. Yes, you can do things like rewards points. You can have punch cards, automatic punch cards for people using different services, using coffee shops and that kind of thing. Include gamification as possible as well. Who can visit the most venues in a given area, that kind of thing. There are other ways of doing it, but this would be a really great way of doing it. Hyper local promotions, okay? Very super local. We know exactly where someone is with greater certainty than could be provided by GPS and those kinds of services. Maybe cashback rewards can be in there as well. And we can monitor usage for trees as well. We still have to work out the numbers on this, but we are committed to making sure that all charging on the Magfast public charging network and affiliates, because we want to make this something that everybody can get in on, is going to be beyond carbon neutral. And this is the thing that I think can be huge, is payments, okay? The business model doesn't rely on it, but I think that this could be an extremely strong component of it, as I will show you in just a second. So what might this look like? These are, in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see in very faint type, it says simulation. Okay, so there's no business relationship implied here. We're just illustrating what this might look like, okay? And can you see how beautiful these chargers can be in public? You just snap your phone right on, tap it, and you're in business. Here's what it might look like at airports and transportation hubs. If you were here a few minutes ago, you saw that I was lucky enough to meet Mr. Branson back in the day. I've been a fan for 30 years now, something like that. Extremely grateful to him for what I learned from him. And what about conferences and events, all kinds of public charging like this? And if you're looking closely, you'll have noticed that in a bunch of these examples, there is this yellow card right there on the screen. And the card, I think, can be really, really interesting for us. Let me show you how this works. I just stepped away to change my little demo area at the back there. Philip, can we bring up the demo area, because I just want to show you something that I think is pretty spectacular. So here's our mock-up of one of these public chargers. And as you bring it in to introduce the phone, something incredible happens. It offers you the chance. Let me see what you guys can see on the screen there. Can you see this? Yeah. I need to say allow. I need to give permissions. And now watch what happens. I get the chance to add the card right into my wallet. Boom, like this. I've been using this for a while, so I have a bunch of things in there. But right now, the Magfast VIP card is installed right here in the phone. And it has all kinds of stuff. Let me just show you on the back of the card. If you're not already using the wallet in your Android or your iPhone, it's pretty remarkable. And I'm going to step back to the front and to the slides, Philip. Here's the thing about the card. It can do a lot of stuff. It's extremely easy to add. You just saw me add it via touch, but it can be added using a scan of a fingerprint code or a regular QR code, or just send someone a link via email or text. And look at all of the stuff we can do when we get these cards installed by any of those methods. All kinds of things, warranty, special experiences, investor portal, you'll get to there, promotions, networking, loyalty, access, rewards points, customer care, brand sharing, share the brand with other people, communicate. The list goes on and on and on. So this card, we think, can be a really powerful business in its own right. Truly amazing. It's secure in the Google Apple Wallet. Looks like my slides blanked out on the right-hand side there. You get updates in real time. You can transfer everything. If you move from one phone to another, the card will transfer with a phone upgrade. And this can help us to make the foundation of a true modern digital brand. So look, folks, that's a great deal to unpack there. We've got, Philip, if you could just come back to me, please. So we've got a brand new connector, an extraordinary new connector that, is fantastic and is compatible with all of the Generation 1 products and with the entire industry that's moving to Qi 2. Please go online if you order a MagSafe or a Qi 2 product and just try out this Snap to Charge thing that the industry is moving to. It's fantastic. You're going to enjoy it. And we're going to have something even better coming for you with your help a little while down the line. So we've got this fantastic new connector that then enables this moment of unity, this extra level of communication, this proof of presence that happens when the two snap together. That proof of presence allows actions and transactions. Actions will be things like home automation being triggered and that kind of thing. Transactions will be be some kind of measure that the action took place. So there can be incentives for the consumer, or possibly even payment, because as I'm going to show you in just a second, the number of people who need charging is tremendous, and if it can be offered, there are plenty of cases of services that are so much better when you pay for them, and we think that there's a chance that folks will pay. So here's 7 reasons why you may want to click on that button below and invest in Magfast, and 1 reason why you may not want to invest. And I'm just going to cover that one first of all. Look, this kind of investment is risky. You should only do it if you can use allocated high-risk investment funds, if you have an investment strategy, or just out of your discretionary money, your Las Vegas fund, if you like. No one should be putting in their rent money, no college or retirement funds, nothing like that. Only do this if it's money that you can afford to lose. But if you can, I hope you agree that this basket of extraordinary new innovations that we're developing here, along with the power of this kind of next level of network that John Fanning is bringing to the party now, really takes things to the next level. So let's do 7 reasons why you might want to invest. First, as John pointed out, we've had some problems along the way, but sales hasn't been one of them. 20 million in sales so far. The best-in-class strategy we think is pretty great with Lux, with Heathrow, and of course with Extreme, which is in a class of its own, jump-starting your car. Magfast Unity truly changes the game with actions and transactions. We're doing all of this at the beginning of a steep curve in the global wireless charging market, growing at 20% a year on a tear for at least half a decade, from $6.4 to $16 million in value. And we think that this public charging network can be absolutely huge. Let's just do some rough, I'm going to take a sip here, and then let's do some math on what the public charging network could be like. We just told you 7.5 billion smartphone users within the next few years. 60% of them run out every week. If 1% of the people who run out of power with their smartphone every week will pay 25 cents, you've got $500 million a year in revenue. If you don't think that many people will pay that much, do your own math. You'll still get tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. If you're like me, you think more people will pay more and you get a bigger number. But I think that's a fair illustrative calculation. $500 million a year. Another reason to invest is we have this large existing community. That's a lot of people that we can quickly get onto the card and help us share the card, who will be here for us as we develop these extraordinary new products, and who can also help us to build out the public charging network with the stations, because we think that the business model can be something a little bit like the ATM networks, where it's worthwhile getting one into your local store. And we think that we think there's value in this transaction, there's true value in charging, and we really think there can be something here. Another reason you might want to invest is that if this Gen 2 connector works out as we expect, especially if the additional work that we're working with the patent, there might be an opportunity to license it to other brands. So that's just 7 reasons for investing. There's a bonus as well, which is we think that this takes to 100 times our mission of changing charging for good. All right, that's a lot, I know. Let me just go through the investment stuff for you really quickly. Now, there is a chance to invest in Magfast for the next little while. This is all done under the auspices of the SEC, special rules introduced over the last few years. They limit how much we can raise. We're doing the whole thing with our friends at Net Capital, which is an SEC authorized portal. We've done this with them several times before. They're fantastic. It was through Net Capital that we were actually introduced to John Fanning. Before today, 4,887 of our customers have become investors, which is truly, truly amazing. And we're doing something special. This window is only open, as I say, until next Monday. But we're going to give you $100 of Magfast product for every $500 invested. No, we're not crazy, because our cost of goods is less than $100. We're going to give you $100 worth of retail for every $500 invested. So if $500 is your flavor, please make sure you go in just above 500, not just below. All right, it's 500. All right, but for every 500, every full 500 invested, we'll do $100 in Magfast product. I don't know what the demand is going to be like. I can tell you that in 2020 and 2022, we completely sold out both of those offerings. Now it's 2024. I don't know. I suspect that after what we showed today, some people are going to be pretty enthusiastic. So we're just going to ask folks to limit, especially the kind of big time investors who are watching at the moment. If you want to invest, please limit to $10,000 on the first day, just as a courtesy to let as many of our regular customers and so on get in. Even at that level, there's room for less than 450 investors at 10K each. So, as a reminder, please only do this if this is right for you. It's critical you check all the materials. As you know, during the checkout flow, they call it, but during the investment flow, all of the materials, they'll explain. There's financials in there. You'll see the hole that we created with the products that we weren't able to ship. And there's all kinds of information there. We're going to be cash hungry for a while. Please read all of the materials. This is only for, you need to take responsibility if you choose to invest in us or anybody else. We're going to to succeed or die trying. We've now got the might of John Fanning and his network behind us, but nothing is assured here. There's just the chance of something really, really phenomenal. Okay, right back at the beginning, we asked you to post your questions down in the bottom. Kate has been assembling them. Let's get Kate, and if we can, John Fanning to come back in the room right now, and we'll just go through some of the questions together with a quick Q&A. This is a pre-IPO public offering, folks. Okay, even though it is open to the public, it's not what's officially called an IPO. We are actively looking into that down the road. There's nothing ready to announce at this time, but it might be the last chance to get in before a public offering. So thank you. Welcome back, John. Thank you, Kate. Kate, I think, has assembled some questions from those that are being asked, and John and I will now do our best to field them. How are we doing for time? We're just after 1:15. So let's try and let people go by 1:30 if we can. Kate, go.
Okay. So we have over 700 questions that we've had to comb through.
Okay.
So would you like me to stick to just investment questions, or also in questions about the previous hour? I have a lot of both.
I think I'd like to stick to stuff from this 5 o'clock, so about the new products and about the investment process, please.
Okay, so first question from Dylan: What happens to my investment? It becomes diluted. Am I no longer an investor? I think he's asking because we're opening another round.
So John can probably speak to this better than me, but in the real world, when companies take on investment, the notion, right, John, is that everybody has a slightly smaller share of something that is stronger and worth more. That's the idea, right?
Something that is hopefully stronger and worth more and increasing value in the future. Of course, as you pointed out, all investments have risks. So yes, there is a certain amount of dilution that comes with each successive round of financing, and that's perfectly normal and perfectly typical. And the way some sophisticated investors handle that is they'll try to set aside a small amount of money to invest in each subsequent round of financing to protect themselves from being diluted by the additional financings that are being done. You find that particularly helpful if the next round of financing happens to be at a lower price than the round of financing that you invested in. You can exercise a strategy called dollar cost averaging, where you can invest in the cheaper round and lower your average cost. But in this case, Seymour, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the valuation's pretty similar to the valuations of... Yeah,
it's similar to last time. We can discuss that another day, but we felt that there's a combination of like things that we spoke about earlier where we missed some marks, but then we also feel that the network is infinitely stronger. The new patent stuff we think is super exciting. We think the possibilities are great. So we thought, you know what, let's just stay right there. And we think that that's kind of the fairest thing to do for everybody.
Yeah, I think the company has proven that it has the ability to ship great product. It's proven that it has the ability to drive customer demand. I think the company is at a very exciting inflection point where if we put together the right resources, including capital, I think the company's poised for phenomenal growth. But time will tell, and we'll see. And just one more point, in case I don't get to make it again. One of the things I'm most excited about is what you've talked about in terms of Unity. Because I see in technology companies, one of the most difficult, probably the most difficult step and milestone for a company to achieve is one I think Magfast has already achieved. And that is getting scale, getting economies of scale, getting to the point where you have thousands of customers. And in Magfast's case, tens of thousands of customers. Tens of thousands of products, and even hundreds of thousands and millions of potentially future products. Getting that scale together, what you've done is you've built a community of people that are behind you. And those people are the lifeblood of the success of the company, even from an investment perspective. Because if you've got people that are buying your products and people that are supporting your company, and they all work together as a group, you can see very powerful, exciting things happening, like what happened in GameStop, where institutional hedge funds just kept selling the stock and the average investors just kept buying it. And at the end of the day, they made a fortune because they stuck together as a group and they operated at scale and they did things 10,000 people at a time. it's
Yep.
incredibly powerful. And I just want to, if no, I make no other point, I want to make the point that we have that here. And with the Unity product that you're delivering, you're going to allow people, all Magfast family members, to connect, communicate, transact, interact with each other. And that makes it an incredibly valuable. There's value in every connection made. And if you connect everyone to each other, the value of those connections go up exponentially.
Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Okay, I have an easier
We
one.
have to- we have time- so thank you, John. We have time for one more question.
No. I have a few more, so let's be speedy. No,
We
okay.
talked about batteries for 90 minutes.
Okay. So next question: how can I become an investor?
This one is very easy. You go to magfast.com/invest, or you click on the button underneath you right now. Depending on if you're watching us live, I guess if you're out on the internet somewhere or other, maybe there isn't a button, but magfast.com/invest. Maybe Philip, you can tab that up on the screen for us. We have it on a couple of the slides here. So magfast.com/invest, or you can go to netcapital.com and search for Magfast. We're probably showing up on the homepage now. If not, they have the search function. But yeah, magfast.com/invest is a shortcut over there. And thank you so much for the question. Next, Kate.
You can also Google NetCapital Magfast, and it will take you right to the link.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Next question is: what is the minimum investment?
Minimum investment, I think, is a hair over $100. If Rex could just confirm that for us. It varies slightly from one round to another. That's typically where we set it, but we'll get the exact number for you in just a second.
It's $110.39.
$110.39. There you go. Thank you.
$110.39.
Yeah, I always feel like people should be able to do whatever they want. It's just that numbers smaller than that, like the amount of kind of sort of inertia that surrounds the transaction and costs and this, that, and the other. But we've a lot of folks go out and they say minimum of 1,000, minimum of 500. We think it's like, you know what? If folks want to join us for the price of a nice meal with their friends, we think they should be able to do that, and we would love it if you did that. And as I mentioned in the first, the 4 o'clock hour for our existing customers, remember all of our existing customers, shipped and unshipped. We've got a whole bunch of benefits for you that are doubled if you invest in this round.
Yeah, and that $110, that's less money than a lot of people spend on scratch tickets, and this is way better than scratch tickets.
It has a better chance of working, that's for sure. All right, what's next?
Okay. So this one, sorry, I'm scrolling through. What levels of investment are you offering?
Ultimately, there's a ceiling. The SEC limits the total amount that we're allowed to take. As you just said, the minimum's kind of 110 and change. And basically, you can buy individual shares up and above that. So the next one, if it's 110, the next one will be about 125. So it's pretty much whatever you want. In terms of the bonus that we're doing of $100 of product for every $500 invested, there you'd need to kind of, you want to be just above one of the 500 levels, don't you? You don't want to invest 999 and miss out on, if you've done $1 more. You understand what I mean? But yeah, the levels are entirely up to you. I would just caution, not a penny that you can't afford to lose. Okay, right? None of us, I want you to be able to sleep at night, and I need to be able to sleep at night knowing, all right, that I'm going to give my very best. All right, I'm going to do my best to make this amazing. We've now got the extraordinary power of Mr. Fanning and his network behind us, which is truly game changing combined with these ideas. But this, as I say, you are either a sophisticated investor who knows what they're doing. If, like most people, you're not a formally sophisticated investor, you just have a feeling about this. That's your Las Vegas money. That's your money that you might have spent going to the movies. That's your discretionary spending on that kind of thing. Nobody's retirement fund in here. Nobody's rent money. All right, nobody's college fund, nothing like that. Just something where you can enjoy. Here's the way you need to look at it. Put it in and say you'll get value by enjoying the journey. And maybe, just maybe, we can do something like John was describing they did at Uber, multiplying it just a few times over.
I actually don't agree. I think money in retirement funds. If you've got a long-term investment horizon, if you're investing money that you're not going to need for 10 years, I think investing in stocks historically over every 10-year period in history have outperformed other types of investments. And of course, you might want to put together a diversified portfolio of those investments. I personally think this is the type of investment that does belong in retirement funds. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think so. Let's qualify that. I'm saying I don't want someone going, I'm excited about this, I'm taking all of my retirement money and putting it in. That's an absolute no-no.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Simo. But the rules prevent people from doing things like that. The rules that the regulators have put in place limit the amount of money that any individuals can invest. And so it's really geared towards, smaller amounts of money and helping prevent people from making those kinds of decisions. But of course, you really want to only invest money that you can afford to lose, which is, I think, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, John. You're right. I mean, the regulations surrounding all of this are pretty tight. And I just want to give a shout out to Rex, who'll join us in we'll do some more. We'll do another Q&A session in the next few days. We'll probably Kate and I usually do a closing ceremonies on the final evening. So I think we'll do one of those. John, we'll have you back maybe with some of the others on your team. But Rex has been working behind the scenes on all of the numbers and getting this whole thing set up. And I just want to extend a huge thanks to him. It's really been insane work. Well, I've been working on the presentation with the others. He's been putting all of the legal and compliance and regulatory stuff. It's enough to make a grown man cry, and he has cried more than once putting it together. Next, Kate.
Okay, I have two more questions and then just a couple of nice comments I wanted to read.
Okay.
So, next question is, if I want to invest $1,000, then should I actually do over $1,000 to cover the costs?
You should do over, because as Simo pointed out, he's set the perks at exactly 500 and 1,000, and so if you go under, you won't get those nice perks that he set up. So you should do over. Next question. 500,
1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,000. So it's every 500 along the way. But yeah, please do that. Somehow, like every time we do this, somebody comes in just under and then wants special handling and everything. And it's like, here's the deal. When that happens, it costs your company money to handle the customer service. Every customer service, we need to get the numbers so incoming customer service is insanely expensive when you're trying to do it at the level that we do it. And one of the things we need your help with is keeping those costs down. Yeah. All right. Next, Kate.
Okay. Last question. This is actually a bunch of people are asking this, so I'll just answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there will be a replay. We will have it right where you're most likely watching it right now. It'll take us just a bit to get it ready. We will also email you with a link when it is ready. So don't worry, you will be able to see a replay of this.
Very good.
Let me just make one final point too that I just wanted to correct. Simo, you made the point about pre-IPO earlier, and it is common for companies, investments like this in private companies, for investors to make money in an IPO. But as you pointed out, I just want to reinforce the fact that there are no definite plans to take the company public.
Certainly not.
When oftentimes people say pre-IPO meaning private, and what Simo meant is the company is still private. And there may or may not be an IPO in the future, but there's certainly nothing definite. Sometimes people misunderstand what you mean when you say pre-IPO.
For sure, and thank you for clarifying.
There hasn't been any announcements with respect to that. Yeah,
I would say that everybody's interests are aligned here. John is a nice guy and he likes helping people, but you can be sure that he sees a pathway to making a tidy sum out of this, and that is part of his motivation mix. That would be fair to say, John. I know you're a good guy and you'll help anyone, but part of it here is the excitement of creating something that really moves, right?
Seymour, my main motivation is that I get up every morning and I ask myself, who can I work with, who can I help, because I get the most satisfaction out of helping entrepreneurs like yourself travel the path that I've taken. But in addition to that, I look for opportunities to work with great people and great teams to do great things. And when you do great things, and I don't think there's any question you're doing great things, really impressive things at Magfast. And when you do great things, you create value. There's plenty of value to go around, and everybody makes money. And so I sort of expect that there'll be a financial reward at the end of the rainbow, but really my focus is really on working with great people and doing great things.
I think we can't really top what John has just said, so we should probably draw this broadcast to a close. There will be others in the coming days. Magfast.com/invest right now. We're going to be open until Monday, the 29th of April at midnight Eastern. That's an SEC requirement, a rule. We're not allowed to go a minute later than that. And we're very grateful to you for staying. If you're watching now, you've been with us for a little while. As Kate said, the replay will be available. And I want to also give a shout out to Philip behind the scenes, who's been tireless in helping us put the presentation together. All of the beautiful images and so on that you've seen have been created in concert with him. And he's also been at the mixing desk behind here. He hates coming on camera. I'm not going to ask him to come on camera, but if we could just wave to Philip and say thank you. And maybe, Philip, you can play us out now with magfast.com/invest along the bottom of the screen. And just play one or two of the videos for the new folks here who haven't seen us before. Just do one or two of the videos that explain the existing products, because we haven't yet made the videos about the new ones. Everybody here today, you've seen the new stuff for the very first time. So thank you, John, thank you, Kate, as always, and we will see you in a couple of days when we do another of these live streams.
Bye, everyone.
Magfast Air reimagines what's possible in Qi wireless charging. Beautiful glossy contours enclose a powerful dual-coil Qi certified premium wireless charging system for all your Android, Apple and other devices. Place one horizontally or vertically and instantly our induction system communicates with it to maximize power delivery and ensure a safe, fast charge. Designed for lifetime durability and fun, this stand doesn't fold down or flip out, it snaps firmly, magnetically and fast. Magfast, both onto the back for simple storage and underneath to stand on your desk or countertop. Air's precision geometry is calibrated to position your devices at a perfect 69-degree viewing angle to maximize your productivity. By now, you already have many micro USB cables like this, but the future is USB-C like this, so Air accepts either when you want to power it by itself. And Air, of course, is Magfast Air, so like every other Magfast family product, it works magically with all your other Magfast chargers too. Snap on any of your Magfast power banks for a super stylish, truly wireless portable wireless charging stand. Or keep your phone away from big spills and little fingers by snapping Air right on top of your Magfast wall for one of the world's first outlet-mounted Qi wireless chargers. So Air is awesome on its own, perfect with all our power banks, and wonderful on Magfast wall. And of course, we plant yet another tree for every Magfast charger ordered. Magfast Air reimagines what's possible in Qi wireless charging. So this is Magfast Lux, the brilliant new premium fast charging cable with a gorgeous patent pending design. And with our lifetime warranty, could this be the last cable you'll ever need? When yours arrive, the first thing you'll see is this beautiful premium packaging. Look, it's perfect for gifting. Lux comes either with an Apple MFI certified Lightning connector for iPhone or with USB-C, which is now standard on every other modern device. Just look at this. Isn't it beautiful? The next thing you'll notice is this amazing premium feel that Lux has. It's incredibly soft and strong, and it just feels so great in your hand. This new sort of silky silicon surface, it's really something. And look, other cables hold on to kinks and knots, but Lux just lets it all go like this. Isn't this great? The secret is this Teflon shot right through this premium wiring loom, so Lux is optimized for flex and flow as well as power and data and strength. It's so effective that Lux is certified to an astonishing 25,000 bends. That's how we can honor your lifetime warranty. Data goes great too. Lux can transfer your favorite HD movies in 30 seconds or less. It all flows through our beautiful patent-pending gold-plated tips for the ultimate connection. Now, there's lots of counterfeit and sometimes even dangerous cables online. So onto every Lux cable you're getting, we precision laser a unique encrypted URL like this, so you can easily check this one's the real deal. There's less than a 1 in a billion chance of guessing this code, so you feel totally safe with Magfast, and the counterfeiters can stay laser focused on our competition. Now, there's still a lot of these old USB-A outlets around, you know, the kind you've used for years. So every Magfast Lux comes with this beautifully designed custom USB-A adapter included free. So now all the Lux cables you're investing in for the next decade work perfectly with all the old and new outlets around your home and at places like coffee shops and airports, libraries, hotels, everywhere. And finally on Lux, again, this packaging is just amazing. Look, it's beautiful, perfect for gifting. Isn't this gorgeous? The box has this winding system and even has a secret place to store your adapter and the neat silicon cable tie that we're including. So gorgeous, fast charging, lifetime warranty, and much, much more. The first Lux cables are being manufactured right now. They're phenomenal, and they're on their way.